Hello, it's Leslie here again. Today I thought I would do something a little bit different and give you some encouragement in your language learning journey. So here goes. You can do this. I really believe you can do it. If you put your mind to it, you'll get there in the end. Are you studying kanji or Russian cases or some other hard part of the language? Maybe you're studying Chinese intonation or something like that. I don't know. But I'm sure you can do it. Have you had a setback or something like that? You might have had a setback, but don't give up. It's a long process. So keep going and you'll be fine. Just don't focus on the past. Focus on the now, right? Don't even think about the future. Just if you missed a session or a few sessions or you don't think you're making any progress, just keep going. You'll be fine. I mean, I really do believe that anyone can learn a language because you already speak one language. So you already know how to speak one language, so you just got to change your brain into thinking that you can't do it, into a mindset of I can do it. And that's just more of a question of your attitude, really. So keep telling yourself, I can do this, I can do this. And get into good routines and, 5 minutes every day. Start with 5 minutes of something that's doable and you can do it. And slowly work up, if something hasn't gone to plan or, don't get too negative about it. I think that's one of the thing I most think about is don't let yourself have any negative feelings about it. Don't tell yourself that you study poorly or that you are doing, just keep giving yourself this positive messages, reinforcement. The Indians have a saying, well, I don't know if it's a saying, but there's a group that has a laughter class, right? And they laugh to give themselves positive energy. And they have a saying in that class, fake it until you make it. And so they start off by laughing fake, and then by the end they're laughing for real, and that gives them the positive endorphins and everything. So keep telling yourself, I can do this, I'm doing well. Mate, don't lie to yourself necessarily, but just, I recommend keeping your daily studies so simple and so short that you know you can achieve it. And I stop when I'm bored. If I'm bored, I stop because there's no point learning when you're bored. Or if my brain's full for the day, I stop. So anyway, getting back to the positive messages, I believe you, the viewer, the subscriber, can do it. You've learnt one already and that was fairly easy for you, but you're an adult now and, well, maybe you're a child. I don't know. Anyway, the point is, you already learnt one language, and actually it's theoretically easier now to learn concepts that you didn't know concepts before when you were a baby or whatever. So now you have an idea, of concepts such as a word I learned today, transparency. So in another language, I knew that, of course, in English, transparency, but the concept of transparency, a child doesn't understand, maybe a 3-year-old child doesn't understand the concept of transparency. So you already know all the concepts. So it's only a question of, learning each word. And really, there are a limited amount of words you can learn. Like, you think it lasts forever, but actually, if you do, say, 10 words a day, an average that is, by the end of the year, that's 3,000 plus words. Now, even that's rather a lot. So I think even 10 words a day is too many. But even 5 words a day, if you study 5 words a day, that's 1,500 odd words by the end of the year. And so then that means in 3 years of study, you'll be you'll be all right with only 5 words a day. And, 5 words is not that many. And you might even start with less than that. You might even start with 1 or 2 or 3 words. And 1, 2 or 3 words, it's practically nothing. So, sorry, this is turning into advice, and it should be positive reinforcement. I'm trying to transfer my positive energy to you, the viewer, when you are in a slack moment, when you're you're feeling a bit down, or you've reached a plateau. So I'll get back to the positive reinforcement messages. Oh, I think you can do it. Just keep it simple. You'll be fine. I believe you can do it. If I didn't believe you could do it, I wouldn't have started this channel. I wouldn't have even bothered starting this whole channel. The whole point of this channel is to convince adult people that they can learn another language. I'll give you an example. Just a little side example while I think of some more positive reinforcement messages. My sister has a very negative view of herself learning languages, and she said, I can't learn another language, I don't know, That's one of the negative messages I tell you to avoid. Just don't believe you're one of those people. My father was one of these people who was really positive, and he read this book, and he tried to get me to read it, and he said it was called The Brain That Changes Itself. And so he realized, and he might have been 70 at the time, but he realized you can actually learn new things when you're old. Like we tend to think of ourselves that if we haven't done something by the time we're, 25, that it's never going to happen. Like, if I haven't learnt the violin, or if I haven't started practicing piano when I was 5 years old, and I'm still 16 and I haven't even touched the piano yet, or I'm 32 and I still haven't touched the piano yet, I'll never be able to play the piano. I think that is the wrong mindset to have. That is totally the wrong mindset. That you don't want to have that mindset. So you can actually change your brain. And I didn't end up reading that book, but I know that you can do it. I learnt my first language at 28, and then I became fluent in Spanish after a few years. And so then I thought, well, why not learn another one, and then another one, and then another one? So I really think you can do it. Just hang in there. Maybe tell yourself you'll have a break rather than quit. Rather than say, I don't want to touch this again, just have a small break and come back to it again. But don't quit long term. Just have a break. If you're sick and you have the cold or the flu and you don't feel like studying, well then don't do it that day. But then the next day when you do feel better, or the next, maybe it's 3 or 4 days later when you do feel better and you can do it, then you'll be fine. You'll be thinking, okay, well, I'm back into my language learning routine again. And as I say, if you start with only 5 minutes a day, or 1, 2 or 3 new words, because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, isn't it? Learning new words. Learning a language is learning 1 word at a time. Some people learn phrases, but then you'll never be able to, if you only learn phrases, you'll only ever be able to speak in pre-composed phrases, so that's no good. So you really want to only learn 1 word. You have to learn 1 word at a time, is my secret. And it's just a question of being stubborn. I would call it the type of stubbornness. Being stubborn enough to sit there and look up 5,000 words, Some people pick up a book. I know one other polyglot picked up a Russian book, didn't know any Russian at the beginning, looked up 1 word, all of them in the beginning, and by the time she got to the end, she'd virtually built up a vocabulary of several thousand words. But most people don't have the patience to do that. So, it's just a question of hanging in there until you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,000 words. Not that many. It's 5,000. I mean, there's 3,600 seconds in 1 hour. So Yeah. Getting back to the positive reinforcement messages, as I say, I think you, the viewer, can do it. I don't care how old you are. It's up to you to do it. And you can do it. Really, you can do it. Some people move to another country. I knew people who lived in the Canary Islands 10 years. British immigrants, let's call them. And they still couldn't speak any Spanish. They couldn't order even a simple sandwich in Spanish after being there 10 years. And in other people, that's you, I'm hoping, I've seen people learn a language. You don't even have to be in the country anymore. That's my other thought, the myth that I want to break, that people think you have to move to the country to be able to speak the language. Well, I think that's a bonus. I think it all happens easier, but I don't think you have to move to the country to learn it. Unless it's some very small language, like where there's very few, unless it's like some African language with very few speakers and there's no material out there. But now it's the age of the internet. You can do it. You just look it up online, and you don't even have to live in the country anymore. You just have to expose yourself to the audio of the thing. And if you do that regularly enough, you'll learn it, and you won't even have to live in the country. So I've managed to learn some Russian. I haven't even been to Russia for 15 years. So, and when I went, I couldn't speak it, and so now in the last 3 years I've learned some Russian and not even set foot in Russia, which is quite an achievement. So I'm talking about me, sorry. You can do it. You can do it. I believe that you can do it. Just hang in there, keep it positive, and do you feel like studying right now? Well, just quit this video and just go right now. I think I was lucky enough to be surrounded by people that spoke several languages. Like, I might speak about this in another video, but my grandmother allegedly spoke 5 languages. You know, she grew up through the war, and I almost didn't believe it. I thought, no, that's impossible. How can she's too old. How can she speak 5 languages? And then my auntie spoke Spanish and English, and my uncle actually spoke English, Spanish, Italian, and French. So I got this idea from them that, you know, even they learnt as an adult. And, you know, when I was first learning started to be exposed to languages in the 90s, I went to a languages school, apparently. It wasn't very good. But I had this whole idea in my head that, yeah, if you don't learn it at school, you won't ever learn it. And they didn't have Russian as an option at my school, so I'll never learn it. That's a myth. And, you know, I think people are starting to be aware that it's a myth. So I think it's just a question of training and study and dedication. Be stubborn, don't give up. Just hang in there. It really is, especially if it's a difficult language. Like, I struggled with Russian. You know, I did. That's no lie. Especially with the cases, and then finding out that the adjectives had different endings to the nouns for each different case, combined with all the genders, the 3 genders. I really struggled, but I didn't give up. And I still struggle with it occasionally. And I'm not very good at speaking yet, but I certainly understand some. So I didn't give up. I'm glad I didn't give up. There's another video of mine where I tell you about where and when and how and why I actually gave up in the year 2000 or so. There's another video. But I haven't given up, and it's paid off. So, and I think I'm over the hurdle, and I don't think I'll ever give up now. I think you get past a certain point, and if you keep getting new input if you keep getting more audio and video material, or if you have a chat buddy or something to talk to, and keep with conversations. I haven't really done it with conversations. You will get there. You will get there. If you keep doing it, you'll get better and better and better. It might not feel like it. You'll feel like you're plateauing, but you are making progress. Sometimes it doesn't feel like you're making progress, but it's very slow. It's very slow. That's what people don't realize. You can't don't expect, this is the other thing, expectations. Don't expect to listen to a 1 hour video of something and then be able to speak the language miraculously, or like the time when Bart Simpson went to France and suddenly started speaking French. It doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way unless you're studying. Well, I'm trying to do it that way with Russian. Just keep on studying, and then all of a sudden I can speak. But it doesn't happen so in such a short period of time where something, if you read, I don't know, if you only do 1 hour study, you are not going to have the same results. Well, not the same. You're not going to have a massive amount of change in skill in only 1 hour. It's the same if I practiced the violin for 1 hour. I always wanted to learn the violin, and I don't play the violin, but I always kind of wanted that would have been the instrument, or maybe the electric guitar. How good am I going to be or rather, how bad am I going to be if I only play the guitar for 1 hour? I'll be terrible. And it's the same with languages. 1 hour total doesn't get you very far. It's not enough time for your brain to change itself at the molecular level, or whatever, the cellular level, let's say. You need more time to restructure your brain, and that takes months. I wouldn't even say weeks. It takes months, if not years, right? Years. We're talking years of work. And that's why I'm doing this video, because it takes so long that you get a bit, I wouldn't say down, but you get a bit despondent with your progress. And it's only natural. And I've heard that every language learner has that feeling where they just get frustrated with their progress, and some part of them feels like quitting. The ones that keep pushing through that get there in the end, and the ones that quit don't. So that's my advice to you. My advice to you is actually not to watch any of my videos, really, and just go and expose yourself with the language you want to learn. Don't even watch English videos at all, including mine. Just go and fill your YouTube feed with the foreign language you want to learn. That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to fill my whole feed with Russian videos. And, it's kind of working. Anyway, you can do it. I'm sure you can do it. I think we're coming up to nearly 20 minutes, so I will wrap this up soon. But I just wanted to, there was a moment in one of, what's her name? I've forgotten. My brain is getting full. Antonia Vromaka, the Russian teacher, one of the most popular Russian teachers on YouTube. There's one video where she says, you can do this. And it was only one phrase, and that helped me so much. So I wanted to make a video where it's repeated 10 or 20 times, where I say, you can do it, just a pure mode. I actually wanted to do a 5-minute pure motivation video, but it's because I don't have a script, it just goes off script, but I prefer to do it that way. Maybe I'll do another 5-minute video or 2-minute video of just pure encouragement only, but it's a little bit harder to do than you think. Just pure, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. I felt it was a bit fake, so I did it this way. So just don't get negative, don't study bored, do something you enjoy, make sure you're having fun. That's another key. Have fun with learning languages, however the method that is. I'm not going to tell you how to study languages, what your method should be. You should figure out your own method, right? That's very important, I'm a visual learner, I figured out, so I prefer to watch television because that's visual. Some people are audio, maybe they can do it all with podcasts. I don't know. I have tried that. I have sometimes do that in the very, very beginning to just get the basic vocabulary. But I'm a visual learner, so I prefer to do that. Anyway, I'm absolutely 100% convinced that you can do it. If you put in the effort, and if you keep it positive, and if you keep doing it for a year or 2 or 3, you will be fine. That's all from me. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye. You can do it. You can do it.